holding on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome everybody to the Icon Cup Series as we are at the Lady in Black here tonight. Alan Bergen just south of St. Louis here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Studio, and to my right, the virtual right, all the way from Richmond, Virginia, Mr. Shane Cochran.
Hey Alan, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good. You know, we just got done dealing with Mother Nature here in the Midwest, but nonetheless, these guys are getting ready to get gridded up here as we are going to go over that starting lineup right now with Nathan Finnegan putting it on the pole, John Ross flanking him to his outside of row number 2 will be Tay McDonald. Brian Smith will be starting on the outside of row number 2. Cody Neal will start on the inside of row number 3, while Braxton DeWeese will start on the outside row, row number 3 in that 6th position. Michael Taylor will start 7th. Jacob Smith will start in that 8th position. Starting 9th will be Kevin Gunther, while Travis Gilbert will start 10th. Starting 11th will be Charles Van, while Logan Romney, he'll start in that 12th position. Going a little deeper in the field, starting 13th will be Hollingsworth, while Jacob Gladulch will start in that 14th position. John McNeil will start 15th. Ryan Patty will start 16th. Starting 17th will be Sean Purcell, while Zach Zach Lockett will start in the 18th position. Jeff Dillon will start 19th, and rounding out your top 20 will be Kyle Purcell. Shane, take it away as we get ready to go through the rest of the field.
Sure, starting 21st, Nathan Brzezowski. 22nd, Steve Tuck. 23rd, Brad Delph. 24th, Evan Patinko. 25th, Michael Jennings. 26th, Bentley Glazer. 27th, Charles Woods. 28th, Kyle Diaz. 29th, Adam Ball. 30th, Kendall Leveron with Charlie Widener and Robert Bloom. 31st, 32nd, followed by Chris Camburn, Ethan Van Colley, Hanover Fist, and Cody Eldred, 36th. Rounding out our lineup tonight will be Nyman in 37th and Taylor in 38th. 38 cars on the grid tonight.
Yeah,
here at Darlington.
I was going to say, as we get ready to go green here with the Lady in Black, 175 laps. Out of turn 4 they go. And we are green here at the Lady in Black. Let's settle in and get the popcorn going. Let's go racing.
Looks like we got a handful of nice throwback racing schemes here tonight. Excited to run through and take a look at those. Looks like Nathan Finnegan running a Dale Jr. throwback. Like that one, of course. He's out to a half-second lead already.
Yeah, Nathan Finnegan in that number 6 spot. We're on lap number 2. Gotta love the throwback schemes. I love throwback weekend, and I wish I could have found what I was looking for before the race had started. I think it's really cool to see these guys throw back, and as we are 38 cars strong, 36 cars actually took the green flag here tonight.
Yeah, I saw some NASCAR drivers this week actually saying they thought that the throwbacks were kind of overdone and had run its course. And my answer to that is, hey, it's not for you, it's for us. And I think it looks great.
Yeah, it's almost as if, NASCAR is the only sport that does this. And I think other sports, if they would just follow suit, they would, have an awesome weekend here. We're going to bring you some awesome shots throughout the race night here. As once again, we have Nathan Finnegan and John Ross. Tay McDonald won this race a year ago with the ECR boys over there, and showing why he is, he's not the defending race winner of this race, but nonetheless, this track is definitely too tough to tame, and it's going to live up to its name here.
Yeah, we're already having some drama here. I think that Jacob Smith has blown an engine. Dropped all the way to 35th with a meatball flag. Heard some chatter on the radio. Also seeing that Kendall Leveron got a black flag right around the restart. A lot of kind of weird drama here right at the start of the race.
Hey, gotta love it. What we're going to do is, real quick, we're going to go and... you're going to see just a little bit of a blip on the live time here. And I got to do this. There we go. See, just a little bit of a blip. Not bad. But nonetheless, nothing has changed. Nathan Finnegan. Tay McDonald passes John Ross for second. Looks like Travis Gilbert there on the outside in that vet to track number 22.
Looking at that 78 for Brian Smith, it certainly looks like a throwback scheme, but that's not one I'm familiar with. Alan, have you got that one in your memory bank?
Oh, let's see here. It's one of those. I don't know what he's paying homage to, but here comes Travis Gilbert looking for fourth position to his inside, though. Let us know who you're shouting out here in the race here in the broadcast, and we'll do our best to get them some screen time. We're going to get all these paint schemes some screen time, as these guys put a lot of effort into getting these paints done for this race. Ooh, Michael Taylor's going to put it in the wall.
Yeah, I'm seeing in the YouTube chat, Kendall Leveron's black flag was actually an EOL, I believe, from penalty from last week. Certainly not but it looks like maybe he picked up a second black flag. I'm showing him as out of the race already.
Did he win the race to the beer stand already?
I'm not sure. We've got
Okay, now that isn't cool.
Drivers out already.
The Rocket Zach Lockett there in that number 93 Chevrolet, paying homage to Jeff Gordon, rather. I almost offended like 3 million people. Braxton DeWeese paying homage to Dale Jr. If only Dale Jr. drove a Ford.
Hey, Eddie, everything's fair on Throwback Weekend. The 42 gets a little bit tight and into the wall. And these guys trying to get underneath of him real quick.
Now, so here's the thing. Also, is it looks like okay. So the 42 of Logan Rodney, and I want to give a shout out to my buddy Sam Frazier, our teammate here on SRM Media. That is a Hesketh paint job there from the IndyCar circuit.
Oh, big contact there for the 08 of Michael Taylor. Romney and Gunther going to squeeze by. But hey, this is Darlington, right? It's not a joke. That Darlington stripe will come out and get you here. The fastest line around the track is pretty much right up against the wall, but if you overcook it just a little bit too much, you're going to get into that wall, especially on the exit.
Yeah, back up here in the front here as we go out to the wider picture. There's the interval between, 0.3 of a second between Finnegan and McDonald and John Ross in tow. It seems like the top four is starting to pull away. Now, here's the thing. We got 36 cars strong here. Kendall Leveron parking it before it even goes green. And that 2 car, Jacob Smith. Well, he'll run the race to the beer stand here tonight.
All right, did a little digging through the Discord there. If you want to jump back to Brian Smith in the Discord to see, this is a Bob Seneker ASA throwback. And looking at the pictures of Seneker's car, that is a spot-on paint job there. Looking great for Brian Smith.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're 16 laps in, 175 laps here. And it's been all Nathan Finnegan all night as well. We're not that far into it, but it looks like we got some drivers making an early exit. This track is living up to its name very early. A little bit deeper in the field, there's another one of those Vet Track sponsored rides with Kyle Diaz. As you and Mike Damani last night got to see a banger from Nashville Super Speedway.
Yeah, that was a kind of surprising race. With the low banking at Nashville, I expected there to be a lot of guys leaning on each other, but they went caution-free, green to checker, and really showed us how it's done. But here at Darlington, I don't know if we'll be that lucky. I mean, this track asks a lot of you, and passing gets very difficult, especially as you start to wear out those tires. As anyone who watched the Cup Series today will see, it's a grueling race, and even if you lead, 200 laps, you still don't get a victory handed to you.
Yeah, on board with Ryan Patty out of Boston, Massachusetts. Who the Cardinals are playing the second of a day-night doubleheader here. Throwing it back all the way to Harry Gant with the Skull Bandit car. But nonetheless, this track does not offer a lot of room. It's a lot more narrower than it actually looks from the cockpit. As Brian Patty's going to essentially bang the boards there, as we like to call it in the dirt world.
And, just like that, Finnegan is only a straightaway behind some lap cars already, just 20 laps into this one.
Shane, when are our stages tonight?
Oh, let me double check that. Stages tonight. We're doing 175 laps total with stages at 50 and 100. 5 additional sets of tires on top of what you start with. And as usual, we've got our 24-point incident penalty. That's where it starts, where you get the drive-through, and then up to 3 green-white checkers for tonight's race. I'm going to do a little research here and see what I think this fuel window is going to look like and how that's going to shape up our pit strategy.
Yeah, we saw earlier in the real world race today that fuel strategy would definitely be a play. I think it'll definitely be the play here tonight as we watch these guys make 175 laps around this very treacherous, dare I say, Darlington Speedway. And, your eyes aren't deceiving you. There's a lot of pavement, but the apron is so wide, and the tricky part, this is one of the trickier pit roads to get on and off of, because you essentially got to come down all that way and get it wound up before you get to that 45 mile an hour speed limit, if you will.
You're right about that, Alan. In my league race this week on Thursday night, I missed the entry to pit road, ran out of fuel, went 4 laps down, pretty much ruined my race. So you cannot make a mistake getting on pit road here when it's time to do that.
Yeah, mistakes come at a premium in this league. And, I mean, look, this league is hard enough as it is without making a mistake. So, I mean, it's real easy with 35 of the most talented drivers that I feel in iRacing. It's very easy to bury yourself fairly quickly. Travis Gilbert up to that second spot right now, and Nathan Finnegan over almost 2 seconds ahead of Gilbert. As the 22 and 29 car holding their own respectively.
Yeah, Finnegan's starting to get a bit of a gap, and I think clean air is the premium. Like you were saying, if you can get out front, get some clean air, that's the easiest way to be fast and save tires at the same time.
Well, now that you say that, I really think that if you're out front, you can really slow the pace of the race down. Now, if you're Nathan Finnegan, you're going to come up on some lap traffic, which will be hand over fist, as he's going to throw it all the way back to Dale Jr.'s rookie year in the Xfinity Series, that AC Delco number 69. And then you got, Ethan Van Colley right ahead of him in the 85 car.
Yeah, everybody pretty much playing nice so far, but then again catching up on this lap traffic here. Looks like the 85 is going to let him go. 99 trying to pick a fast lane, but there's no match for that 6 car right now.
The 90 car, Robert Balloon bounced it off the wall. Now, if you're slow like me at a racetrack like this, you're essentially becoming a rolling roadblock. As Charlie Widener would be the next car to go a lap down to Nathan Finnegan. Nathan Finnegan put the afterburners on, and he's going to set sail.
Yeah, if you don't have some raw speed here, I mean, pit strategy might be your only lifesaver. Like we said, that first stage coming at lap 50. If my math is right, I think we're going to be looking at a 40-lap fuel run if you aren't saving some. Maybe you can get 42 laps if you save a little bit, but it really doesn't serve you well to save fuel here because you can go down a lap like we're seeing here so easily. So expect to see guys starting to pit anytime between now and lap 40. As I think on the radio we're hearing the 22 of Travis Gilbert looking to come in this lap.
And you have called it. Here he comes down pit road. He's going to make his way down. 29 car, Teddy McDonald is going to come down with him out of Iowa, Creston, Iowa, to be exact.
Yeah, and this is one of those tracks where, the undercut, pitting early is a gamble because you're going to go a lap down more than likely unless you're right up close to the lead. And you just kind of have to cross your fingers and hope no caution comes out until you have a chance to cycle through and come back to where you are. You do gain a little bit of speed by getting those fresh tires earlier, but as always, you're gambling on that, getting trapped a lap down, having to take a wave around.
Yeah, and to your point, right now is Nathan Finnegan has essentially lapped all the way up to the 20th position here, and he's definitely on a Sunday drive. And I tell you what, my favorite paint team, and I want everybody in the YouTube.com live chat to comment on this too. Based on what you saw in the race today, what was your favorite throwback real world scheme? Because I had 2 of them. One was Well, actually, they're both in the Xfinity series, and they're both Jeff Burton throwbacks.
Man, I really was pulling for Harrison there. That paint scheme looks so good thrown back to his dad, Jeff.
Well,
Seemed like pit strategy didn't work out for them.
here's the thing: is I grew up a huge Jeff Burton fan.
Yeah, being from Virginia myself, always been a big Burton fan. I was more of a Ward guy than a Jeff guy, just because I was more of a Chevy guy than a Ford guy. But since then, definitely got a lot of respect for both of those guys.
My favorite Ward Burton moment was Bristol whenever Dale Jr. got into the back of him at the Bristol night race, and throws his gloves at him, and then in the interview he goes, I gotta end this interview, something to the effect, because I'm gonna say something I don't want to. And they asked him, it was nice toss glove, because I'd like to shoot something through the window.
Yeah, Ward never one to mince words.
But nonetheless, Darlington, South Carolina. So this race brings a lot of very close finishes, going back to Ricky Craven, Kurt Busch, those types of finishes. But right now, Nathan Finnegan dominating, as he is caught up to Charles Woods there and that number 98 car, and Charles Woods going to politely pull down to the side, and so is Steve Tuck in the 10 car. I haven't seen a lot of throwbacks to Danica Patrick's number 10, but I would have liked to have seen a throwback to maybe Scott Rigdon when he was driving that Valvoline number 10.
Oh, yeah, I feel like there's never been a bad Valvoline scheme.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I am curious to see how this plays out. I think this is going to inform strategy for the rest of the race. As we see, Nathan Finnegan looks like he's probably going to run it to the end of the fuel window here, which is probably the right call as the leader. He's fast, but everybody in that top 5, I think, behind him has already come to pit road, looking at Travis Gilbert, Tay McDonald, etc. We'll kind of see how much do they gain on him by doing this early pit, and is it going to work out? Because, like I said, put this in your notebook for later. This might be the way you're able to win the race on strategy in stage 3.
Yeah, you're 100% correct, and I want to thank everybody for joining us here in the YouTube.com live chat. Jonathan Leach should be back from Bristol. He's taking a couple weeks off. Don't blame the guy. I mean, they had a brutal ice storm up there in northern Michigan, so he's definitely been called to duty to help mitigate that mess. As ice storms are never any fun, especially when residents lose power. Then you got to deal with the cleanup, broken limbs, and broken tree limbs. Not broken limbs, but broken tree limbs. But nonetheless, I know he was really looking forward to being here, and and I told him pre-race. I said, hey, he's like, I don't even know if I'm going to make it back in time to peel back the curtain a little bit. And I said, don't worry, I got you, buddy. And like me and you talked off air, I was actually low-key wanting to do this race for him anyways, because there's just something about Darlington and Throwback Weekend that have a special place in my heart. So
yeah, absolutely. Darlington, always a great track. The Icon Series always puts on a great race with such a strong, large field of drivers. Always looking forward to that Sunday night.
Well, here's a paint scheme that you might recognize, a 44 car, a John Ross. This might go way back for you.
Is that? I almost feel like it's maybe a Mark Martin.
No.
What are we looking at here?
So this is John Ross. This goes all the way back to it's either going to be Neil Bonnet's number 21 car when he drove for the Wood Brothers, or Michael Waltrip. It could be one of those two drivers, because they both driven that paint scheme before.
It is sharp looking.
And then there's the throwback to Harry Gant in that number 30 card, the Skull Bandit. Braxton Deweese was born on Dale Sr.'s birthday on 4/29/03. Dale Jr. or Dale Earnhardt was born on 4/29. I forget the year, but that might have been your trivia question.
I think that's 1951, if I remember right.
You are correct.
You got the 19 coming to pit road of Adam Ball. 38 of Cody Neal. Hearing a few other drivers say on the radio they're coming this lap. Like we said, I think I was guessing lap 40 would be as far as you can go, but seems like 43 is the number as our leader. Nathan Finnegan is in. P2 Brian Smith, Jonathan Ross. Of that 44 car coming out of pit 3. It looks like our entire top 7 are on pit road right now, with the exception of the 14 car of Gladulich.
What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. Since they're going to take a pit stop, we're going to take a pit stop. We're going to go side by side here on Sim Racing Media. You won't miss a thing. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sim Racing Media. We are live with the Icon Cup Series, and you are watching Nathan Finnegan just dial up the afterburners. But nonetheless, Travis Gilbert's going to take stage number 1 pretty handedly. Alan Bergen and Shane Cochran with you here from the Tony Trapasso Memorial Studio, just south of St. Louis, Missouri. And, well, we saw pit stops. And we saw stage 1 go to Travis Gilbert, Shane.
Yeah, it looked like some very deliberate strategy here by the 6 car. You know, he waited kind of till as late as he could to pit, knowing he was going to give up some time to the 22 and the 29. And then even after he came out, it looked like he was saving tires. So here's what I think is going on. I think that Gilbert and McDonald were playing for the stage. They're saying, hey, we're going to pit early, almost split this stage in half, and we're going to go get some stage points here. And Finnegan, with the speed he has, saying, you know what, I'm going to run long, and I'm going to pit late, and then I'm just going to cruise and save some tires so that I can stay out here at the stage end. But it actually looks like maybe he's going to come down pit road, so forget everything I just said. I thought for sure he would stay out here because he really wasn't using up his tires much. But maybe kind of backtracking on that strategy now that he's seen how it plays out there in stage 1, wanting to be in a good position to maybe flip the strategy in stage 2, as pretty much the whole field is going to come down and pit.
Hopefully, once they come off pit road, I think a lot of these guys maybe took fuel only for the middle of the stage. As Travis Gilbert's on pit road, we're gonna have a chat with Travis Gilbert here in just a few moments. And when he comes off pit road, this will be a fun interview. I love talking to Travis Gilbert. You know, used to race on Saturday nights with the ECR, the Elite Cup Series. And if you have not checked that league out, you can catch all the action with Mike Damani and Shane Cochran almost every Saturday night. Most Saturday nights, but that's a really fun league to watch. I enjoy watching on Saturdays. I've tuned in as I await the rural racing season to start up, and we're gonna go ahead and bring Travis Gilbert up to the booth from the Gone Run Motorsports contingent. Travis, it's Alan and Shane up in the SRM booth. You got a copy?
I do. How's it going?
Hey, look, man. I never get tired of talking to you as you are the stage 1 winner. Take us to the stage, and what does that do for the momentum going through the rest of the race?
I don't know. I think we're at a tire disadvantage now because we chose to take stage points there after a bad week last week. And then I went ahead and decided to get a speeding penalty. So really got my work cut out for me. So seem to really like to jack things around when things are going good. I really want to thank the Racing for Freedom team, the Gone Wrong Racing team, Tay McDonald, Kyle Diaz, Ray Lane, the Roth brothers. I mean, we've been practicing, putting in work, so we'll see. I done messed it up. Congrats to Tay on the 2nd place for the stage. So just being a dummy down pit road, trying to get too much when I didn't need to.
Well, hey, if there's one thing I know, and I told Shane up here, I said, you watch that number 22 car, and I get you up here, if I can get you up here before we go green, I'm going to get you back down your teammate as we get ready to go green flag racing. So good luck.
We got a really fast car on the long run. We just messed up.
Well, let's say you guys are going green, so we'll get you back down to your teammate, and good luck and we'll talk to you after the race.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Alan.
And here we go, back to green flag racing on board with Tate McDonald. He said he had a penalty, but up here that Coast Guard at number 91 of Hollingsworth, he's going to dive it down to the inside. And it looks like we have an incident we're going to show you here.
Yeah, I just I noticed that Kevin Gunther was having some issues. It looked like he was off the pace. And when I checked the replay here, these 3 cars come up on him fast. A little bit of contact, and he gets into the wall hard. Actually picks up a meatball flag from that one.
And that'll end your night fairly quickly.
For sure. Really unfortunate incident there, as it looked like he was mostly minding his own business and got caught up on some cars with fresher tires.
Right now, Billy Glazer sets the, well, Ryan Patty sets the fast lap of the race with a 29.21. Shane, in 57 laps in, we are just rocking and rolling here all the way to the end of stage 2.
We did have 3 cars, it looks like, stayed out there. The Bentley Glazer, our current leader, did it. He's got 13 laps on his tires. Jay Hollinsworth, the next car, he's in P4 right now on those old tires. And then Chris Camburn a little further back in the field, kind of on the same strategy as them, but we'll see how they hold on, as Finnegan and Smith have already gotten around Glazer here at the front.
Yeah, absolutely. Nathan, I was going to say, Nathan Finnegan back to the lead, doing what he does best.
Yeah, and I think it's important to call out, there are only 13 cars still on the lead lap. Those green flag pit cycles in stage 1 really spaced everyone out, and if you didn't get on pit road fast and get off fast, like you mentioned, I think a handful of these leaders were just taking fuel only. We heard sound like Gilbert say he took tires both at the stage and in his green flag stop. So, but I think if you took time to get tires, that it might have gotten you stuck a lap down here after that first stage. So the battle for the lucky dog is really going to be heating up with so many cars one lap down. Evan Patinko currently in that position ahead of Chris Camburn.
Yeah, these are just some of the many feuds that we're going to see as these guys are coming down that back straightaway.
Yeah, really, like we said, a lot of fun to see these throwback schemes, the 78, Brian Smith in the throwback scheme, Nathan Finnegan in a throwback scheme. I see a handful of Dale Juniors, a handful of Jeff Gordons. I believe that 30 car of Ryan Patty's running the Harry Gant scheme.
Yep.
I'm seeing that one.
I love it when drivers take it all the way back to the 90s and 80s.
Yeah, it always seems a little, kind of the further you go back, the cooler it is, I think.
Well, if I remember correctly, Dick Trickle used to actually smoke under caution. He had a cigarette lighter in the race car.
I think back in the day, I can't remember who it was. I just saw a video yesterday of it. There was a driver who had a monkey in the car. And that was the only credited co-driver in NASCAR history is actually a chimpanzee.
Brings whole new meaning to coming at you like a spider monkey. That's what you say that. Brian Smith and Ryan Patty now running 1-2. And these guys are looking to put some distance on Nathan Finnegan. Nathan Finnegan, let's remind the viewers at home that he dominated the stage 1 since the drop of the green flag. And now he finds himself mired in that third, under attack from Bentley Glazer in that number 87 car, who we see on Tuesday nights. He hasn't been running too many Tuesday nights. He's been focusing more here on the Icon Series. And then back there in that number 44 car, John Ross out of Adrenaline Motorsports, who he's, he can catch on Thursday nights here in a couple of weeks, racing with the Racers Elite Cup Series. Who, you check those guys out over on the Racers Elite Network. But it's a good mixture of, of these guys. And, John Ross does some special things behind the wheel as he absolutely just dominates, some of these other leagues. And then Braxton DeWeese in that number 8 card, throwing it back to Dale Earnhardt Jr. And what do you think? So let me get your opinion on the Lamar Jackson and Dale Earnhardt Jr. lawsuit, because it seems like he goes after everybody.
Yeah, I am really at a loss on this one of how anybody, even Dale Jr., can have a trademark on a single-digit number. It certainly has to be enough 8s out there that I'm not really sure what the copyright is for. And yeah, I can't really wrap my head around how Lamar Jackson is suing Dale Jr. for his Xfinity car 8 number font. I'm not really sure. The only way I can kind of sleep at night thinking about this is that it's probably, a room of lawyers that happen to work for Lamar Jackson and a room of lawyers that happen to work for Dale Jr. have some sort of feud going over copyright law. I'm sure neither Lamar or Dale, spend any time in their day thinking about things like this.
I mean, Dale, let me quote Tony Stewart. Only Lamar Jackson would think about things like that. Dale Jr. spends his day thinking about how to make his race cars go faster.
I'm not even sure these days that's what he's thinking about. I think he's thinking about, how do I do this? He does a podcast with his wife. He does a podcast with, a handful of his TJ Majors, all this stuff. He's got more going on in his life than to sit and worry about copyrights on numbers. And although it is great to see him get that DEI 8 back into his control. Yeah. Certainly, when I was growing up, I was a Dale Jr. fan, so I love seeing that 8 out on the track again. As Finnegan is really all over the bumper of Brian Smith here for P2. Ryan Patty out there leading, but this is where the fight is.
Yeah, right now Nathan Finnegan taking the battle to Brian Smith. Brian under attack from the 6 car. And just as you say that, Shane, Nathan Finnegan comes under fire from, Bentley Glazer.
Glazer really holding his own on those slightly older tires. I think he's showing us that, hey, you might not be able to keep the lead, but you are able to stay in the top 5 if you know what you're doing.
Oh, they know exactly what they're doing.
So we have a caution out. The 48 and the 24 are slow on track.
Let's see what happens.
Or sorry, not the 24. Ooh, the 01.
No.
A couple cars caught up in that. Looked like the 01 got in the wall. That collected the 48, and then Jeff Dillon, the 52, and there was another car that really came through there and got some heavy contact on the way. Yeah, Kyle Purcell in the wall there. As we ride along with the 52, Jeff Dillon, he is running a nice, looks like a Mark Martin Valvoline scheme there.
That's the old school one. Here we are.
I think he got the worst of it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, just about halfway through this fuel run, that's when the tires are starting to give up. That's when you push a little too hard, you can smack the fence like that, and if you got somebody right on your bumper, there's no time for them to check up or to get their car out of the way. As again, we see pretty much the entire field coming down pit road. You gotta keep that in your notes because we only have, I believe it was 5 additional sets of tires, and this will be the 3rd tire changing stop for most of these drivers. We are not even halfway.
Well, this is our first caution for causes. Braxton DeWeese, he's gonna win the race off pit road. Oh wow.
Yeah, it looks like he and Tay McDonald taking fuel only based on their pit times, under 6 seconds. Brian Smith maybe taking 2 tires, and Travis Gilbert also taking fuel only, using that to make up for all that track position he lost for a speeding penalty at the end of the first stage. But Ryan Patty, Finnegan, Glazer, John Ross, Cody Neal, and everyone on back, taking 4 tires here. Like I said, you're going to have to pace yourself on tires. I mean, this is a long race.
If you can afford them.
Well, like I said, I think there's only 5, changes you get here in this race at Darlington, and based on what we've been seeing, I think most of these drivers have already, this will be their third one, leaving them just 2, maybe 3 here to finish up the race. Still over 100 laps to go. And we saw in that green flag stop, most drivers opting to pit around lap 43, with the longest stint being 47 laps, and those drivers are probably saving fuel pretty aggressively to make that happen. So you've got 2 more stops, even if we go green.
The lights are out on the iRacing.com pace car and around the Darlington Raceway here. We're going to restart on board with Brian Smith in that Jacksonville number 78 car. We're going to see Brian Smith come up through the gearbox here in 4th position, choosing that inside line, and he's right behind Braxton DeWeese on that number 8 car. They come off turn number 4. Braxton DeWeese in the control of the field. And we are back to green flag racing here at Darlington.
Inside line, getting a great jump. Smith already up to P2.
And
there was a bit of an awkward situation about in the second half of the pack. A whole bunch of cars not caught up to where they were supposed to be. Hearing a handful of drivers getting black flags for passing under yellow just because the field wasn't caught up to the pace car.
Yeah, Tammy McDonald losing wholesale positions on that restart, getting a little bit loose. Brian Smith and Braxton DeWeese got to battle it out here for the lead, and they are pulling it away from Travis Gilbert, your stage 1 winner. And here comes Ryan Patty on the inside.
Yeah, 22 into the walls.
3 wide.
Ooh. Yeah, 3 wide at Darlington is not something you want to try to do, even on fresh tires. So we see that Brian Smith, like we said, we think he took 2 tires, blows right by Braxton DeWeese, who did a fuel-only stop.
There's about a half a lane below that dotted those dash marks.
Ooh.
And that's about it. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, you got Brian Smith and Braxton DeWeese. Braxton DeWeese took fuel only. Chris DeWeese is crew chief and / spotter. Nathan Finnegan setting the fastest lap of the race. Whoa, he just drove it in there out of Coventry, Rhode Island.
Woo.
He drove that thing in there, and if he'd been on the inside, he'd been about 3 cars deep when he did that one. You can see that diamond line that they're running, almost making this turn a double apex turn. I mean, that's just how close you got to be to the wall, and these guys... He's going to do it again. He's going to make slight contact with Brian Smith. Maybe door bumper not so clear. Braxton DeWeese has a front row seat to this one.
Oh, a little bit of contact there. I love that you call it a double apex. To me, Darlington is just kind of like the whole turn is the apex, and you got to hug that wall.
Oh, no, there goes 3-1 again. Here comes Ryan Petty threading the needle for 2nd position.
Woo!
Wow. These they're getting all they can out of these Dr. Feelgoods.
Now, Patty, the furthest up driver on 4 fresh tires, making use of them. Finnegan also on that strategy with 4 fresh tires behind him. Those guys really trying to take advantage where Smith checked up a little bit, battling Braxton DeWeese.
Yeah, you got to give Ryan Patty the credit on that 2-for-1 special with DeWeese and Finnegan to get that 2nd spot. I tell you what, Shane, here at the front of the field, there's more action than the Waffle House at 3 a.m.
Like I always say, it depends on which Waffle House, I guess. But Yeah, they are going at it. With just 18 laps to go till the end of the stage.
They're going to go 3 wide back here in the middle of the field. Thinking better of it.
Yeah, DeWeese pulling down and saying, hey, I see your fresh tires. I see your speed. I don't want anything of it. I don't want to be in the wall here, ruin my race. So I'm going to pull down, get in behind you, and try to keep some positions here to the end of the stage. 38 car Cody Neal also kind of showing up. We haven't seen much of him in the top 5 here today as he's in 6th position, looking to get 5th from Romney.
Comers and goers. Brian Smith continues to lead the way with just 0.2 of a second over Ryan Batty. Here comes Nathan Finnegan on the charge once again as we are, I would have said, 16 laps away? 17?
Yeah, it looks like we're 15, 16 laps away from the end of the stage. This is a great battle to watch. And again, get your notebook out. Take notes on this. Brian Smith on 2 tires. These guys behind him on 4. It seems like they're faster than him, but when they get up into that dirty air, it's like they can't do anything about it.
John McNeil on pit road. He's going to bring it down. Multiple laps down. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, oh man, I just love that high line. You know, in the dirt world, is Brian Petty got to catch some of the wall there, and Brian Smith, Ryan Petty's gonna go underneath. Brian Smith, Ryan Petty, does he have it? Yes, maybe. They're gonna make contact.
If they didn't make contact, that's as close as you can get without doing it. From Finnegan saying, hey, I'm going to get in there too. And just like that, they're back to single file. It was kind of like everybody agreed, hey, that was a little too sketchy. Let's relax for a minute.
You know, I'm not surprised that you've gone up a couple of octaves there in a minute.
Ooh.
In a matter of moments. I know, right? Oh, boy. Like, I'm nervous. I'm not even on the racetrack.
Yeah, Darlington does this. I mean, I'm not sure anybody is comfortable here. Just when you think you're comfortable, that's when you smack the wall. That's when you get loose. 78 just doing such a great job of kind of taking away the clean air from these guys behind him and also taking care of his tires, trying to make it to the end as we see Patty getting loose on exit.
Oh, Nathan Finnegan almost had a 2-for-1 special, but not close enough. Finnegan scored him to 2nd position. A little bit deeper in the field, Travis Gilbert trying to overcome that speeding penalty on pit road. You know, at the end of stage 1, he's up to 9th.
Yeah, another driver who took that fuel-only approach. I think, it's net gained him some positions, but he's probably just counting down the laps to the end of the stage where he can get some fresh tires on that machine.
You are 100% correct. The Rocket, Zach Lockett, not having a very good night here as he is mired back in that 28th position with the Adrenaline Motorsports contingent, and the best and the top running driver out of that team is John Ross in the number 44 car, who's currently running 7th position. Chris Deweese checking in the YouTube.com live chat. We want to thank everybody for spending your evening with myself and Shane Cochran here, watching these cars just duke it out here. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share button. And Nathan Finnegan going underneath Brian Smith for the lead. Give Nathan Finnegan the lead out of turn number, 3 and 4.
Oh,
barely got the lead.
Smith smacks the wall, and I mean, even after he got off the wall, that car was shaking back and forth.
You like what you see here? Check us out every Sunday night. Next week, we had the Bristol Motor Speedway, an even more technical track than this one. And, I love short track racing. I really do. We got to see a glimpse of that in Martinsville. I believe next week is the day race. Not the night race, but the day race.
Yeah, when you're talking about tracks that are tough on you, Darlington is up there, and Bristol's probably the best competitor. Really take everything out of you. Bristol in a completely different way. Obviously a shorter track, higher banks. You're on top of the drivers around you every single lap. Here at Darlington, you can at least get spaced out, and just when you do that, that's when the track can attack you.
They say that here at Darlington, you race the track more or less than you do the other cars. And, I got to feel, as I say that, if you're, like Nathan Finnegan is stretched the lead out to a good healthy second as we are working our way to lap number 100. And we got about, 6 laps to go left in the stage 2.
Yeah, they say that, but I don't think a track's ever won a race, so I'm going to race the guys that are out there in the car myself.
Kyle Diaz going underneath Logan Romney rather, for that 7th position. Kyle Diaz so far up 20 spots. But how about Billy Glazer up 22 spots from where he started from?
Yeah, using some pit strategy to get up there. He's really made the most of that. Was able to get that quick caution while he had stayed out on old tires, I think, the time before. Track position here at Darlington is key, like we said. Now just 17 cars on the lead lap.
Tay McDonald back there in 13th, 10 spots in the wrong direction. As he started up there near the front.
Looks like the 16 is on pit road. He's probably hoping to flip the stage here.
Maybe.
But like I said, usually when you pit here, you go a lap down. So he's got to be kind of quick on that stop. Make sure he doesn't go 2 laps down so he can take the wave around, stay on the lead lap.
Well, Nathan Finnegan do what Nathan Finnegan does best, and that's putting cars left down as he's going by the 32 car right now. And the 32 car is Cody Eldred. And that's going to leave 15 cars left on the lead lap, as his next car will be Sean Purcell in that 74 car. And right now, Nathan Finnegan's got 99 problems, and, Brian Smith ain't one.
I don't know. Smith only a half second behind him. Oh, but there he smacks the wall again. I actually feel like, the next gen car gets a lot of flack for what tracks it races well on or not. But I feel like it really is a great match for Darlington because of how resilient it is from tapping the wall like that. You can hit the wall just like that all day long. You're not going to need any repairs. This next gen car can hold up to contact like that and keep on going.
We have 76 laps left to go. Nathan Finnegan on his way to win stage number 2. He will trip the caution this time by. And he once again just puts the thing on cruise control. Nathan Finnegan will win stage number 2.
All right, 75 laps to go. Like we said, that fuel window somewhere between 42, 45 laps or so. So you can make this on one more stop if you stop here, which I think most of these guys will. But that leaves a pretty big window in terms of coming early or staying out and coming late down pit road. A lot of opportunities for some pit strategy here, and that's if we don't have a caution. If we have a caution, that's just going to shake everything up.
Well, as we are under caution for the end of stage number 2, we're going to go ahead and take a break, go side by side. You won't miss a thing here on Sim Racing Media. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Darlington, South Carolina, where Brian Smith has effectively taken the lead from Nathan Finnegan. I'm Alan Bergen, along with Shane Cochran, just south of St. Louis here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Studio. And we are live here for the last 72-ish laps of this one here. And Shane, it's been a fun and exciting race night here from Darlington, South Carolina. And I got to tell you what, right now, taking a quick look at the weather, you know, so far it's been an 81-degree day, 27% relative humidity, and that track temperature is, well, they got the furnace cranked up to about 90 degrees on the track.
Yeah, it looks slick, but right now we've got another caution out. Looks like the 52, slow in turn 3.
And
I'm not sure. Almost looked like the 52 of Dylan got a little squirrely and came down on that car that was to his inside. They were 3 wide there, though. Not a lot of room.
yeah, Jeff Dillon's night goes from bad to worse.
But yeah, I'll tell you, while we were under commercial there, we kind of wrapped up the stage pit cycle, and just some true heartbreak there is Cody Eldred was racing hard to keep himself in the lucky dog position, and he was in it when the stage caution came out. But in order to do that, he was stretching on fuel and actually ran out of fuel, unable to drive around and get his lucky dog lap back, having to come down pit road instead and give it up. So just, like I said, a heartbreak for that 32 car. He was able to get to pit road, get some fuel in that machine, but had to give up his lucky dog wave around to do so.
Yeah, you hate to see that for these guys, as we are knee deep into the last stage, or the third and final stage here, as Logan Romney going to come down that Sam Hesketh's number 42 car. My longtime buddy here at Sim Racing Media, Sam Frazier, is a huge Hesketh fan, so I know he would appreciate that car. Currently serving in the U.S. military and currently stationed in Hawaii, so it's kind of an early morning for him right now.
Yeah, a handful of cars on pit road. I'm not entirely sure what that gives you here. Maybe it's always nice to top off on fuel, but you can't make it from here.
Not even close. I mean, you would almost need consecutive cautions to come out.
Yeah, it's 20 laps too long. I'm not really, unless you took fuel only or something to stop before this, and this is a chance for you to get a set of tires on. But most of our leaders choosing to stay out here. Pretty much everyone in the top 15 on the same strategy, pitting 9 laps ago, just after the stage. They are going to need to stop, at least one more time. Pretty much everyone on the track, but I think right now is definitely too early.
I think you're right. So we're going to get lined up 2 by 2. Noah Zark's down behind that Iracing pace car. And this time we're going to go on board with another driver as we get ready. Kyle Diaz. We're going to go on board with him as we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. We're going to, out of Colton, California, we're going to see how Kyle Diaz takes off here and gets up through the gears. They come down the Boeing back straightaway. It's really cool to see these different perspectives, especially when these guys take off, and to kind of see these guys come up through the gearbox.
Absolutely. Put yourself in the driver's seat. Put yourself on the roof. Whatever's the best view. With 63 laps to go, this should be a tight battle, as we've seen. It's hard to pass here at Darlington, so whoever can get out front early is going to have an advantage of clean air, being able to play a little defense on those fellows behind him.
iRacing.com pace car pulls off. We are back to Green Flag Racing. Kyle Diaz from Gone Wrong Motorsports comes up through the gearbox. Third, fourth, going to dive it down to the inside. He's got a great looking view of the 38 car of Cody Neal and Bentley Glazer just ahead of him.
Well, looks like he had to lift a little bit there out of 2. Let's Glazer get a little gap on him.
Oh.
Now with a 22 of Travis Gilbert just behind them. Or just, and no, getting around Kyle Diaz, actually.
Got a driver out of Napoleon, Michigan.
Man, they got single file really fast here, but Braxton DeWeese looking inside.
He's looking inside of Evan Patico. He's going to get the 8th spot. So far being shown 2 spots in the wrong direction. Trying to make his way back up to the front, come through the field.
Yeah, at this part of the race, hey, you know, I don't need to be in the lead, but I probably want to be in that top 5, top 6 area to put myself in position to play some pit strategy and try to get the lead before this thing's over.
Right now,
So
Travis, as I said, Travis Gilbert set the fastest lap of the race with 28.96.
Oh, yeah, burning it down. Again, he's still trying to overcome that pit road speeding penalty from earlier in the race after winning stage 1.
And Brian Smith headed back to Johnsonville.
Go
ahead.
I was gonna say you got a favorite bratwurst or hot dog on that Johnsonville menu?
Funny you were going to mention that because I do not. I have a strong dislike for bratwurst.
Oh, well, we do a lot of better cheddars in my household. Johnsonville.
I'm probably going to get lit up here in the YouTube.com live chat.
Hey, that's okay. So what's your go-to on the grill then? If you're not doing the brats.
Boy, you know what? I am a pork steak and rib kind of guy on the grill.
Ooh.
Do you love me some burgers? But, you know, I'm probably going to get lit up for the YouTube.com live chat on this one. Not only am I not a bratwurst kind of guy, but I am not a ham and beans kind of guy.
I'm not sure who the ham and beans camp is, but I'll let you have that one.
I am. That is, you know how you eat ham and beans, you throw them in the dumpster.
I think you get cheese on anything, it's all right, but yeah, I'm certainly not going to die on the ham and beans hill.
Ugh. I just regurgitated thinking about it. No, that's yuck. Chris DeWeese saying better cheddars are great. That's him and Braxton's favorite. And he is with me in the ham and beans going into dumpster contingent. So glad I'm not the only one in America that thinks ham and beans are the grossest thing on the face of the earth.
Yeah, these top 5 are all within 0.2 of a second. Or each one of them within 1/10 of a second of the next one. They are under a blanket, as they would say.
Yeah, I mean, enter Bentley Glazer in that number 87 car, and in the 6th position, he's catching up there too.
Yeah, every one of these cars have looked, like a potential winner at some point today. Everyone trying to establish their track position here. But like I said, if you're in this top 5, I think you're in the position, and it's really going to come down to pit strategy to make up this half-second gap here. So we see Gilbert smacking the wall a little bit. Still going to have some momentum to get under Neal. Going to clear him coming out of turn 4.
Travis Gilbert showing signs of life here in the later stages of the race. Shane, I feel like there's going to be one more pit stop here. Whether it's green or caution, there's got to be one more pit stop.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think we'll kind of enter that pit window around lap 46 or so. And that's where you have to make your decision. Do you want to come early? Do you want to come late? You want to try to split it right down the middle? We haven't seen a ton of cautions today, so going long is a bit of a gamble. It's going to be really interesting to see with so many guys right on top of each other here. What's that strategy going to be? Personally, I always love to kind of either go as long as I possibly can and hope for the caution, or split it right down the middle. Keep those tires fresh. Or, you know, if you go long enough, you might be able to do a fuel only. If you do split it down the middle, maybe 2 tires is the way to go.
Yeah, looking out
You saw Brian Smith carry a lot of speed on 2 tires in stage 2.
On board with the 30 car, Ryan Petty as Travis Gilbert. There's the eyeball test back to 4th. You can hear it shifting too.
Yeah, I think I really like to get into 4th gear down as you enter turn 3. It really helps the car rotate, keep you off the wall, lets you drive it in a little deeper, but hurts your tires, hurts your fuel mileage a little bit.
Now,
But if it,
with this track being 2 different corners, do you feel like you can carry 5th gear into 1 and 2?
I do, yeah. I like to carry 5th gear into 1 and 2. You know, maybe when my tires are completely gone, if I'm stretching on a long run, I might try to shift, because the car gets really tight when you wear out the right front, as we see Gilbert able to swing it around Ryan Patty as Patty gets a little loose. Oh, when they're making contact. Still side by side. Oh, no. Oh, I thought they were going around right there as they are able to save it.
No
But
harm,
this
no
fight
foul.
is not over.
Oh, it's long from over.
I think if you're Ryan Patty, you might be calling foul there. And this really opens up a gap for those top 2 drivers, Ryan Smith and Nathan Finnegan. It seems like just a lap or 2 ago, these top 5 were all right on top of each other, and now we've got a bit of a gap.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. Is well, Ryan Petty going all the way up to the wall. He's going to come down, and that's that diamond that we're looking at right there. Travis Gilbert on the offensive. He's going to try to get him on the inside. Oh, Ryan Petty kept it a little bit of the wall.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where the first time you catch the wall, it surprises you, but once you get a little bit of aero damage on that nose, it seems like the car wants to find the wall every lap from there on out. You really got to kind of back down, shorten up your entry just a little bit to keep it out of there. But yeah, to your question, I like to carry 5th gear all the way through 1 and 2. You know, on fresh tires, you almost don't even have to lift in this next gen car. You just kind of burp the throttle just a little bit on as you arc the car into turn 1. Then you can mash the gas and get back into it for most of the turn. Then you let out of the throttle just a little bit to get your exit angle just right in turn 2, and then when you get into turn 3, though, you can't arc it in the same way you do in turn 1. So that's where I like to downshift right about here, and helps the car rotate and slow down a little bit.
So we gave Jonathan Leach the keys to the drone here. Seems how he's the official pilot of the SRM contingent. We figured we'd let him fly the drone. But there's that battle high above the Darlington, South Carolina Speedway. And, you know, like I said, it's 2 distinct corners, two separate corners. And the reason for that, I got trivia for you. Do you know why it's 2 distinct corners? Why the corners are so different?
I think I know this one. There is a fishing pond of some sort off of turn 2, I believe, that or it's either turn 2 or turn 4, as we see Patty smacking the wall again. And to save money and to save the pond, they didn't want to make the track symmetrical because they would have to tear up a little bit of that fishing pond. So they just shortened the track.
You're correct. And it actually did. So there was a time when the backstretch was actually the front stretch.
That's right. Yes, we're now in that pit window. 41 laps to go. The 38 car, Cody Neal, pitted 3 laps ago. He's going to be that first car to pit of this group. But that has put him a lap down.
That's okay. He can go a lap down. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Whoa, we got...
Oh, looks like Patty getting sideways.
And
he
these two are not done yet. Travis Gilbert going to go all the way to the bottom of the racetrack and get around Ryan Patty. Ryan Patty losing 1 spot. Almost lost 2 spots. If I'm Ryan Patty, I'm really not too happy with Travis Gilbert right now with the way he's raced.
Sorry.
I don't like calling drivers out like that, but I mean, these two are just beating and banging off each other, and you know, Ryan Patty may not like that and may end up having a conversation with Travis Gilbert post race. And the truck giving me this replay right here, Ryan Patty and Travis Gilbert making contact. And there it is. Oh boy.
Woo.
No harm, no foul.
Yeah, I mean, it sure looked like the 22 just came up into him. But they're able to keep it straight, keep moving.
Enter Braxton DeWeese into the picture, who's run one hell of a race. Is 2 spots to the good right now.
As we have our leader, Finnegan, we got Nathan Finnegan, Hollinsworth, Bentley Glazer, all on pit road. We are now in the window. Travis Gilbert coming down, Braxton DeWeese behind him. So now we see it's going to be Brian Smith and Ryan Patty trying to run long. Also John Ross and Tame McDonald. Kyle Diaz now up to P5.
Yeah, so in a race like this, Shane, I imagine that you're a long gamer. I imagine you'll hit the pit window as soon as it becomes available. You know, I'm that way too. Even though I do struggle on this racetrack like nobody's business. But, you know, I'm one of those guys, Jacob Smith, won in the race of the beer stand here tonight. And it's very unfortunate, but someone's got to win that race too.
Oh, yeah, and it looks like of the folks pitting, they're all taking their 4 tires. Not a lot of strategy there. But, yeah, I think for the final stage, I usually like to cut it right down the middle. And it looks like, you know, right now we've run about 38 laps since the last caution. So this is the time I'd be pitting. If you're Brian Smith, though, you're out front. You have an opportunity, like I said, if this caution comes out, you're going to trap a ton of guys a lap down and really be in a great position. Right now, only 5 cars on the lead lap.
Insane.
But you're going to lose some time, right? Especially if the fall off on tires is that big. So, for example, you know, Brian Smith, his best lap of the race is a 29.02. Right now, he's running a 30.4, almost a second and a half off the pace. So every lap that he stays out there on older tires than those guys that have just come in, he's losing a second and a half. That is a huge gap and a huge gamble to take by staying out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. Brian Smith continues to lead the way here. You know, and go back to what I said earlier. You can almost control the pace of the race. Braxton, now that, you know, 4 cars on the lead lap, or 5 cars rather, on the lead lap there. Tay McDonald's finally going to blink and come down pit road. He's going to bring that number 29 car down pit road. We only got, what, 30 laps left?
Yeah, 31 to go. And again, every lap that Brian Smith stays out, he is handing a second and a half to Nathan Finnegan. So I'm not sure how long you want to stay out there. He can, of course, stay out there for, you know, 3 or 4 more laps probably before fuel becomes a problem, but I'm just not sure I want to. I'd be coming down pit road now.
Well, that's why we're up here and they're down there. It looks like, oh boy, here he comes.
And here he comes. So he's going to pit with 30 to go. Even if he comes out behind everybody, he's going to have 7 or 8 lap fresher tires. So he's going to be able to be on the offensive, but I just don't know if I want to give up that much track position. We'll have to see how that plays out.
Now, as a driver myself, and as your driver too, do you find it easier to play offense or defense?
I think it's more fun to play offense. Like, it's always nice to be the guy on fresh tires, but I do find that doesn't usually win the race. A lot of times, you know, I come in on the last green white checker or whatever, get some fresh tires, think that's going to make the biggest difference, and in the end I kind of finish about where I was, and you know, that might be like the top 5 or top 10, but not really in contention for the lead. The guys on the lead are those that were saving tires, and then when the caution comes out, they know, hey, I don't even need to come in because I was being smart. So yeah, I think for me personally, that's a skill I'm still trying to learn, is how do I get better at playing defense on older tires. But it's certainly more fun to be on the fresh tires.
Exactly. Well, right now Cody Neal's out to a second and a half over Travis Gilbert. Travis Gilbert closing in, almost a tenth a lap here.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, Cody Neal was the first car to come in right when the fuel window opened. That was 17 laps ago. So his tires are certainly more worn than Gilbert behind him. Last lap, a 0.3 of a second difference in their lap time.
And just like that, Travis Gilbert within a half a second and in striking distance of Cody Neal in that number 38 car. You know, this is a track that, you know, the Freedom Motorsports guys and Gone Wrong Motorsports of Kyle Gilbert, or Travis Gilbert, you know, Kyle Diaz and Tay McDonald, they've had this circled on their calendar all season long. Is Travis Gilbert going to take the lead from Cody Neal in that number 38 car with 26 laps to go?
Woo! Yeah, Cody Neal was not going to just let him go, put up a little bit of a fight, and that let Finnegan catch right up to them.
Yeah, so if you're Cody Neal, you're not only playing defense here, as Nathan Finnegan got to catch a little bit of the wall there, but you can also play like the screen, like the screenplay. If you were in basketball, you know, watch the screen, and you're almost use Cody Neal as a pick. Here comes Braxton DeWeese in that number 8 car. He is right on the tailgate or the back bumper of Cody Neal, as I confuse the car with a truck.
Yeah, I mean, looking at these guys, Finnegan, he won last week at Martinsville. DeWeese, he won at Miami. Cody Neal, he won at Phoenix. The guy here without a win is Gilbert in the lead, so I don't expect him to give that up easily.
No, and Travis Gilbert will do anything he needs to do. He's very aggressive. He's like a rattlesnake. Don't ever count him out in this league or any race that he runs for that matter. as the whole Vet the Track organization is definitely smiling ear to ear right now as they're cheering on that number 22 car. And he's now going to come up onto the lap traffic himself.
And as we mentioned, Brian Smith stayed out really long, about as long as he could there. And he's back in 7th position. He's the fastest car on the track, but he is 6 seconds behind the leader. So we'll have to see if he can make up some spots and get back into this battle up front.
We are nearing the end of this one right now. Travis Gilbert in control. Nathan Finnegan currently running second. And if you're Braxton Luis, you're starting to see the sands of the hourglass starting to run out and trying to figure out very quickly what you need to do to get around these lap cars and have a shot.
Yeah, Deweese is the fastest of the top 3 there on that last lap, but just by, a hair, just by 200ths of a second.
Oh, we got a car.
Oh, no.
16 car into the wall. That's going to bring out a caution. And that is not what Travis Gilbert wanted to see. Michael Jennings. Here it is, folks.
Going to change everything.
Braxton Luis had some connection issues and respawns in the right rear and the left rear quarter panel of the number 16 car.
Yeah, it's really a worst case there. As Deweese blinks out for a second, when he comes back, he's in the bumper of the 16.
20 laps to go, and all that track position that Travis Gilbert just had disappeared like sands in the hourglass in the days of our lives.
And this is where it's, like I mentioned earlier, this is where it's really going to matter. Did you still have a set of tires? Because a handful of those guys came in that first stage and then came in again at the end of the stage. If you don't have tires here, you're kind of hung out to dry. But it looks like all of our leaders are coming down. I'm assuming they still have one more set to put on here.
I'm assuming you're correct.
Yeah, that makes me nervous. When my personal favorite is I always keep, 2 sets of tires kind of in the bank just in case of a green-white checker or a late race caution like this one. Try not to be too aggressive early on.
Well, Travis Gilbert had a set.
Yeah, he had all 4.
Let's do this. Let's
Ooh, this is gonna be exciting, Alan. We've got John Ross, who stayed out. I believe he's got 15 laps on those tires. He's saying, "Give me a shot at it." Then right behind him, Finnegan and Smith took 2 tires, and then behind them, Gilbert, Deweese, Glazer, and Patty on 4.
We got 9.
Everything you ask for, right? We got the sun going down, the track's getting faster. We've got no tires, 2 tires, 4 tires.
Oh.
Fuel's out the window. We don't have to worry about that anymore. This is it's everything you got for 19 laps here at Darlington.
This is like 2-minute warning football right now, as these guys are getting ready to get lined up 2 by 2. Noah's Ark style behind that Iracing.com pace car, and the lights are out around the speedway and on the pace truck, that Chevy Silverado. When we come back to Green Flag Racing, John Ross and that number 44 car will bring us to Green Flag Racing. And get ready, Shane, because it's about to get good.
Yeah, I am nervous for Ross. I think he's going to get eaten up real quick here on these older tires, but hey, if that's the only play you've got left in your hand, then do it. Maybe you catch a handful of cautions here and you're able to hold that track position, but it's going to be a tough line to hold.
The lovable Dave Regal, he used to call some of the races that I was in, and if I didn't go down pit road when everybody else did, I would get an angry text from Dave Regal. Dave Regal, I was always convinced as we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing, the lights are going to come back on I think I just Steve Harvey the field. Now the lights are off. But I would get an angry. I swore up and down Dave Regal could be my crew chief from the broadcast booth.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind having Dave crew chief for me, spot for me.
As we come down that Boeing back straightaway one more time. 17 laps to go. It's put up or shut up time now. Finnegan, Ross, your front row. Smith, Gilbert, your second row. Patty, Glazer, your third row. Fourth row, McDonald, Hollingsworth. That's Jeff Hollingsworth. Who is going to take this one and bring it home as we get ready to come to that turns 3-4 complex here on throwback night here with the Icon Cup Series. There's only one thing left to do for 17 laps at Sutherland. Get some popcorn as we get John Ross, Nathan Finnegan with control of the field. And we are back to Green Flag Racing here from Darlington.
Oh, 24 in the wall.
Right in front of him, he collects Travis Gilbert.
Oh, no. Gilbert was the first car on those fresh tires.
And we have calamity.
Kyle Diaz in that one, the 16.
They go 3 wide, just runs out of room. Oh, no.
And a handful of guys kind of reacting to that one get caught up in it.
We're going to back this up. Right about here. So this is the... He's taking off. He goes 3 wide. Finnegan, Smith, and then... Oh, boy.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really fault him for that. He's on old tires. He's doing everything he can. He gets put in the middle 3 wide at Darlington.
Oh, boy.
Ah.
I don't think... Let's back up Travis Gilbert's view here just a little bit. Maybe come back just a little bit further here. And Travis Gilbert had nowhere to go. Luckily, he was already on the outside. So here we are. Let's stop it right about here.
Ooh.
So there he is right there. I don't think that Travis Gilbert took too much damage.
Yeah, I mean, I think whatever he got, he should be able to get repaired here, but it's really the track position that's going to hurt the most. With 14 to go, if you're not in the top 10, I'm not sure you can get there.
Yeah, Travis Gilbert on pit road getting that car serviced. Nathan Finnegan, and I tell you what, Travis Gilbert is angrier than the Keebler elf getting demoted to Fudgepacker.
But yeah, so Ross is kind of out of it now, but we still have that same situation. The top 2 cars are on 2 tires, and a handful of cars behind them on 4. So we should be set up for a great finish.
13 laps to go here from Darlington. Tay McDonald, the highest Racing for Freedom driver / Gone Wrong Motorsports driver on the field right now. Jeff Hollingsworth in that number 97 car. He is currently running in that 3rd position. Ryan Petty finds himself 4th. And well, when we come back to Green Flag Racing, it's going to be Finnegan and Smith on the front row. Travis Gilbert taking an extended stay like Holiday Inn on pit road. Hopefully he'll be like Motel 6 and leave the light on. But here,
boy, I'm nervous. I'm excited. This is going to be awesome.
well, you got to bring us back to green.
Oh, there it is. Green flag is out. Finnegan on the outside gets a great jump. Brian Smith down low getting pushed by Ryan Patty. They're now single file and they're in the top 4. And the caution's out already. The 01 car is stopped there in turn 1. I believe that's Kyle Purcell.
You were correct. Kyle Diaz. It's a Kyle on Kyle contact.
Yeah, that was a certainly an awkward position there with the 26 trying to get under him, and then both of them almost too low to make the turn anyway.
So we are under caution now for the 7th time here tonight. We were doing good with stage 1. Stage 2.
We're in, the radio is lit up with some
Colorful language.
thick conversation on that last incident. You know when you get your milkshake right away and it's super cold and you can't quite get it up through the straw. That's how thick that conversation is.
Boy, I've had some thick milkshakes, and well, let's do this. We got 11 laps to go. Let's have a quick chat with Nathan Finnegan. Nathan Finnegan, it's Alan and Shane up in the SRM booth. You got a copy?
Hey, I can hear you guys loud and clear.
Hey, man, look, here we are, 10 laps to go. 10-lap shootout. What's it going to take to keep Brian Smith and your teammate Ryan Patty behind you and put this one away?
Hopefully we can fire off well on some restarts here. I know I took 2 on that final stop. I know Brian, the 78, did the same. I think Ryan's first car on a set of 4. So we'll see how these sticker Goodyears get us to the end and just control our lane as much as we can and try to control the air. And hopefully we can get this thing into victory lane back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, you know, that says a lot going into Bristol next week. 2 very technical racetracks, and I'm sure you guys are looking forward to Bristol.
Yeah, I really enjoy short track racing. With a league of this varying degree of drivers, it should be a lot of fun. Hopefully we put on a good show like we did tonight, and we can put a good one on next week for you guys.
All right, man. Well, good luck, and hopefully we'll be talking to you on the podium. We're going to get you back down to your team and give her hell.
Hey, appreciate that, man. Thank you.
And that is the voice of Nathan Finnegan out of Coventry, Rhode Island. So we get ready for a 9-lap shootout. It is dash time.
Ooh.
This is, Shane, what we call in the dirt track world a heat race. or a dash or a B main. But nonetheless, it's a 9-lap shootout. Here we go. Iracing.com pace car lights are out. This is like 2-minute warning. 30-yard line. You gotta throw a Hail Mary here.
Yeah, we got a couple fresh faces up there. Hollinsworth in 4th. 95, Charlie Widener in the picture now. This thing isn't over yet.
Well, as you say that, the Iracing.com pace car are going to dive off on the pit road, giving control of the field to Smith and Finnegan through the Geico restart zone. Barney's got the green flag in the air, and he's going to 1, 2, 3 wave the green flag, and we're back to green flag racing.
Finnegan out front already. Smith stacks in behind him. Ryan Patty and Hollinsworth hot on their trail. Again, those front 2 cars on just 2 tires the last time everybody came down pit road. So you'd think Patty and Hollinsworth should have something for them. As Smith goes down low. Coming out at turn 4. Oh, they're going to stay off each other. You can see Smith getting a little bit loose.
And Brian
Patty
Smith
now.
grabs the wall.
Ooh, Patty now licking his chops.
Oh!
Oh, Smith hits the wall. Gives just a little bit of a gap to Finnegan, but Patty is the one that looks to have that speed on turn entry as he's looking. Oh, he looks under Smith, and Smith throws the block on him.
The Sandy Hourglass is starting to run out now.
Yeah, these three really starting to separate themselves from the field behind them. Pretty good gap back to Hollingsworth, and then really big gap back to the rest of the field. A couple guys in the wall there, but it's really a battle between Finnegan, Smith, and Patty.
Did you know we're qualifying now? Because Nathan Finnegan just set a blistering lap of 28.75.
Woo!
5 to
That
go.
is impressive.
5 phalanges in the air. Nathan Finnegan.
This is when it counts. This is when it matters. Even on 2 tires, turning the fastest lap of the race, as you said. Finnegan starting to pull away.
4 to go. A little bit deeper around the Braxton DeWeese area. He is solidly in the top 10 right now. Brian Smith goes the best, goes purple.
As the sun's going down, I think this track is speeding up. Guys are making the most of it.
3 laps to go. 3 laps to go for Nathan Finnegan. Brian Smith thinking about making a run at him. He's got to get there and then pass him. I don't think he's got enough time.
Yeah, it's going to take a slip up by one of these guys. Smith already with 2 wins on the season. Finnegan looking to go back-to-back. Topping off his win from Martinsville last week. Get his 2nd win on the season. Patty winning in the preseason. Or, I'm sorry, no. Patty winning at Daytona earlier in the season with 1 win himself.
Well, the popsicle sticks are getting ready to go down. Sorry to cut you off. Popsicle sticks go down.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, the popsicle sticks go down. The white flag is out. We are racing back to checkered flag.
These guys giving it everything they have. You know, if you don't hit the wall on the last lap, you left a little in the tank. As they come into turn 3, Nathan Finnegan with almost a half-second lead over Brian Smith and Ryan Patty. White flag is out. The checkered should be coming out here in a second. There it is. Nathan Finnegan goes back-to-back for Icon. Winning at NASCAR's 2 oldest tracks, Martinsville and Darlington.
Wow. Nathan Finnegan, Brian Smith, Ryan Patty is your podium here tonight, and a congratulations bump there. They call that a victory donut. But nonetheless, there's your race winner, Nathan Finnegan. I mean, he played a smart race, winning stage 2 and stage 3, which will be the end of the race.
Yeah, you got to think the 22 is going to be the person most upset about that one after winning stage 1 and fighting his way back up into the top 4, getting caught up in that wreck there at the end.
Well, you know, we have we're trying to do something a little bit different with the Allen Experience Bonehead move of the race, and well, I would have to say John Ross wins that one tonight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, staying out on old tires is always a gamble. Getting caught in the middle 3 wide, it's really kind of I'm not sure what you do there. You're going to get passed. You're going to get wrecked one way or another. Really unfortunate for everybody caught up in that one.
We got our top 3 up here in the waiting room, and Shane, we're gonna bring in Ryan Patty to have you talk to him.
Ryan, this is Shane and Alan up in the booth. How you doing?
Hey, gentlemen, how are you?
Doing pretty good. What an amazing race to watch up here in the booth. We've got, guys smacking the wall, pit strategy, a little bit of cautions here and there. Tell us about your experience out there.
Yeah, absolutely. This is probably one of my favorite tracks in the service, just because it's so unique and such a challenge for drivers. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it. But yeah, tonight's race was really interesting. I didn't qualify where I wanted to. Honestly, I hadn't really run a lot this week with the fixed setup, and I heard it was pretty tight, and those reports were pretty accurate. Trying to get this thing to turn off of turn 2 and get around 3 and 4 was a challenge all night. So, I just tried to take care of that right front as best I could, and make passes when it was safe to do so without abusing the tires. As you can tell, there's probably a couple of incidents tonight. People being maybe a little impatient or trying to force a pass. That was the last thing I wanted to do. So hopefully the car's mostly clean. A couple scrapes on the right side, but real happy to walk away with the podium, all things considered.
Yeah, certainly. Like I was saying on the last lap there, if you're not hitting the wall, you're not trying hard enough at Darlington. So congratulations on the podium finish here at Darlington. And who you want to send some shout outs and thanks to?
Yeah, shout out to the winner tonight, Finnegan. He works hard at this. Great driver, just getting better, and a good teammate too. So, congrats to him on the win, and Brian for running P2 there. Anytime I can race with the two of them, I know I'm among good company. And I don't know if my wife's watching or not, but I always want to say thanks for the support and being my number one fan.
Yes, sir. Congratulations again on P3, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate everything you do.
And secondly, up here, finishing second, Brian Smith, also close, but just couldn't quite get there at the end to make a run. And Nathan Finnegan, take us through that last lap and what more you could have needed out of the car to maybe have a run at Nathan.
Yeah, I think the only thing that would have given me a shot against Nathan is if I cleared on that restart where I started third and where we split the guy. I think as soon as he got out in front of me, I think he was, A, he was just quicker than me tonight, and B, it was the dirty air just puts you in such a bad spot. But that's not me making an excuse. He was faster than me tonight. I just couldn't figure out how to keep the right front on it. It was just super tight on a long run. There were a couple times I felt like I had a chance, if I kept him behind me. I think I beat him off pit road one time when we were on equal tires, and I was feeling pretty good about that. But he just had me on the long run. It was plain and simple. I've struggled at this track with this car, keeping the right front on it, and that was the same story tonight.
Yeah, and now we shift gears, go to the last great Coliseum. What's your mindset as we head into Bristol next week?
I don't know. I typically don't like short tracks in this car, but for whatever reason, Bristol's been the one that I've had some success with. I think I won the fall race in this league last year, and I should have won the spring race. I think I was the quickest car there that race as well. So we'll just see what happens. It's going to be, kind of like Martinsville. I think it's going to be, try and get track position, make sure you qualify well, and put tires on it at the right time, because you're not going to want to go down pit road late in the race. That's just my guess, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, once again, before we get you out of here, is there anybody that you want to help or that you want to thank to help get you here tonight?
Yeah, I wanna talk about my paint scheme real quick. Waylon, I talked to him the other day and asked him if I could get a paint scheme done by Sunday night, and he got it done. So shout out to Waylon. He does awesome paint schemes. So anyone in this league looking for a paint, reach out to Waylon. This is a Bob Senecker throwback car to the ASA series that ran a lot of Midwest short tracks in the 80s and 90s. So I think he was my dad's favorite driver, so it was cool to replicate this on the next gen, and I think it came out really great. So yeah, shout out Waylon. Shout out to everyone on track tonight. We did a pretty good job of keeping it green. Darlington's one of the toughest tracks we go to in terms of just keeping it green. So yeah, it was a fun night. Thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast, and we'll see you next week.
All right, and that was the second place driver of Brian Smith. Next up into the booth, Shane, we will talk to our race winner, Nathan Finnegan.
Nathan, this is Shane and Alan in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Oh, deja vu as we talk to you again in the booth. Back-to-back victories at NASCAR's oldest tracks, Martinsville and Darlington. We saw a lot of pit strategy, fuel strategy, tire strategy, and then some surprise cautions there in that final stage to really shake things up. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was debriefing there a little bit with the 78, and, I was definitely nervous having those late restarts. I noticed like that three wide situation. Fortunately, John gave me the outside. I didn't know if he was going to take it or not, but the outside was definitely the way to go on those final restarts. You just able to drive around 1 and 2 and get a run off the corner so much easier. You get so tight down on the bottom. And yeah, once we got that clean air and that final restart, was just really hoping it stayed green, and it did. And yeah, we're glad to be back in victory lane again.
Yes, sir. I mean, it was just a great race to watch from up here in the booth. When you're coming down pit road each of these times, I thought you guys are running out of tires. How are you deciding when to take 2, when to take 4, when to save some for the end of the race?
Yeah, with you kind of mentioned it earlier with Darlington being one of the oldest tracks on the calendar. This place just eats tires like nobody's business, and figured we'll sacrifice the stage potentially and save ourselves an extra set. And that was, thankfully, those stickers were the ones we put on at the end in that final pit stop to be able to use those right sides to get us in position for the win. So yeah, I mean, cost us a stage win early, but definitely worked out being in victory lane. So.
Well, congratulations again on the victory. Who you got some shout outs for?
A big shout out to the CCR ESR guys, my parents for tuning in, my wife, you guys for putting on an awesome broadcast week in and week out, and everybody tuning in to our league. We really we pride ourselves on some good hard racing, and really trying to replicate the IRL Cup Series as much as we can. Unfortunately, we can't be out there ourselves on Sunday afternoons, but this is the next closest thing. So. Yeah, just really happy all around with the number 6 URI Dale Jr. 500 win throwback scheme, and yeah, we'll ride this 2 in a row onto Bristol.
Yeah, I think the IRL league saw William Byron lead most of the laps, not able to bring home the victory, but here at Icon, you led 73 laps tonight. That was the most, and you were able to keep it up front. So congratulations again on the victory, and we'll see you next week.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
And that's going to do it for the interviews here tonight. Shane, I mean, this race gave us everything we wanted and more. A lot of pit strategy, a lot of good fortune, a lot of bad fortune. But before we get out of here and head to Bristol, we got just a couple more housekeeping things to do. And that is to go over our final results here as Nathan Finnegan going to park it in victory lane for his second but back-to-back win of the season here. Brian Smith's going to put it P2, and rounding out your podium is going to be Ryan Petty. Jeff Hollingsworth is going to finish 4th, and rounding out your top 5 with his best run of the season is going to be Creston, Iowa's Tay McDonald. Jacob Glidle, I'm not going to try it, Drift, as they call him, will finish 6th. Cody Neal will round out, finish 7th, while Braxton DeWeese finishes 8th in the number 8 car. Charles Van Schaik will finish in that 9th position. Bentley Glazer rounding out your top 10. Charlie Widener will finish 11th in that number 95 Toyota Camry, as Sean Purcell will finish 12th. Cody Eldred finishes 13th. Evan Petico will then finish 14th, while Kyle Diaz will finish 15th. After some late race fireworks and misfortunes, John Ross will finish 16th, 14 spots to the negative where he started at. Adam Ball will finish 17th, 18th to go to Michael Taylor. Steve Tuck will finish 19th, Jeff Dillon 20th. The Rocket, Zach Lockett will finish 21st. Michael Jennings, as I am just rolling down here. Michael Jennings will finish 22nd. Kyle Purcell finishes 23rd. Chris Camburn will finish 24th, while Ethan Van Colley will finish 25th. 26th will go to Hanover Fist. Charles Woods will finish 27th, right where he started. And 28th 8th will go to Travis Gilbert, 15 laps down. Scrolling through the rest of the field, 29th will go to Nathan Brzozowski. Brett Delph will finish 30th. Logan Rumney will finish 31st. John McNeil will finish 32nd. Kevin Gunther will finish 33rd. Robert Bloom will finish 34th. And winning the race at the beer stand, somebody's got to do it. 35th will go to Jacob Smith in that number 4 car. So, 36 cars or 35 cars take the fields, and, well, and the winner of the race, the guy on top, Nathan Finnegan, wins. Before we get out of here and head to Bristol, any final thoughts, Shane?
No, I think I'm just impressed by everyone here at Icon, and especially those guys up front, able to take 2 tires and hold off and keep the lead there at the end. Just a fantastic race here at Darlington.
Yeah, absolutely. And for myself, Shane Cochran, and everybody here at SRM and Icon, want to thank everybody for tuning in on your phones in your home. But as you walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.